We stay away from each other for a while.
I agree with you. What do you suggest we do exactly, since this seems to be an unavoidable meeting point?
Why don't we arrange our coming here? You know, if you're coming here weekends, I come here weekdays, or vice versa, whichever is convenient for you. You pick first.
Okay. I'd like to come and help Mommy do some chores by the weekend. So I think weekend will be more appropriate for me.
Okay. That's alright. A weekend it is for you then.
What is happening during the weekend?
Nothing, Mom.
Can I know what that nothing is?
It's nothing. Actually, she has a colleague at the office who lost her parents, and the burial is slated for this weekend, you know, and she's also considering doing some office work at home.
You and this your work. So you started bringing work home to complete, Abby?
Mommy, my boss has just ordered me so much work. In fact, I even have some right now.
May God help you. Peter, please come and drive me to the market. I don't want to miss this fresh reseller.
Okay.
They will soon close shop.
Okay, Julie. We'll stick to things that we've talked about.
Okay.
Stick to what?
Abba, Mama. It's nothing. Actually, I know you start asking what nothing, you know. It's nothing, actually. It's nothing. Soon you start asking me how water got into coconut.
I have no business with coconut. My business now is with fresh fish. Please, let's go.
Where's my keys? Hello, I'm home. Mama, I'm home. Whoa.
Hello, my love.
I wasn't expecting to see you here.
Yeah, Mommy called me and told me the weekend is not fine, so I came to see what I can
really?
do. Yeah.
That's nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank you.
So how is she doing?
Nice.
My dear, how are you feeling?
Oh man. A whole lot has changed about you.
You too.
What have I done? I've brought shame upon myself. What will people say of me? I've disgraced my mother. Oh God, I'm so full of shame. I'm finished.
Julian, Please control yourself. Don't let things get any worse than they are already. Please.
This is not your fault. Are you not supposed to be a man? How could you let this happen? You ruined my life. Dad, where are you? Why did you take John away and leave me in this wicked world?
Talking like that now. Eh? I've told you, I'll find a way. I'll do something. I'll do anything. I'll find a way to clear this mess. Calm down.
This like what? This you've not done before? Huh? Is this your morning? Are you just waking up from sleep? Oh my God.
Please calm down now, please. Let's get dressed. If your mother meets us this way, she'll be very upset. Let me get blown out of proportion. Please, I'll find a way to fix this, okay?
Fix it so. You better fix it. Oh my God.
Good day, viewers, and you're welcome to today's episode of Decisions. Today we'll be talking about family circle, which is a story we've handled before, but we're having a second part of it now, which is due to new developments. And to discuss on it today, I have Dr. Adu. He's a public health physician consultant with the Ministry of Health in Asaba. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good day, viewers.
Okay, also with him, just by my left here, my near left, I have the Demise Mufe Otomi. She is a vice principal at Rural College at Efron. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who find themselves in situations where they have emotions or thoughts or passions about one thing or another that they don't want or they don't like, just as in the case of Julian and Peter. If someone has an emotion that is not wanted, how can the person handle it?
Okay, thank you. Emotions can be very powerful.
Okay.
The Bible makes us to know that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever you think in your heart, no matter if you don't deal with it, it's only a matter of time. The man who steals, the man who commits fornication, the man who lies, the thought will have been there in the mind. It is how you're able to deal with it and sort it out early enough that will determine the outcome. Whatever we see later as your action is based on what you thought you want to do, good or bad. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher, you want to be a lawyer. You'd have conceptualized it in your mind, thought over it, and accepted it. So is every other negative actions that come out. So emotions are very powerful. That's the first thing we need to know, and we need to go to deal with it.
Okay, I don't know. Is there a difference in the way a man will approach his own handling of emotions and the way a woman will approach? We normally say that women are more emotionally sensitive, and men we are more like we're engineering kind of, we are machines. So is this guidelines? Does it cut across both sexes, or men will have a better way, a more successful way of handling it, and women will have their own?
I think emotions are emotions anyway for either of the sexes, whether a man or a woman.
Taking as is this so also?
I think so too. Although we say most times women then tend to be emotionally controlled. They are controlled most times by what they feel, their feelings. And these feelings, because they are women, they want to let it rule them. But on the long run, it's better to think on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. You want to think, what benefits will this thing give to you? You sit down and analyze it. When you analyze it, you see whether it is best for you, and then you know which way to go.
Okay. Now we've spoken about controlling emotions in terms of principle. We've talked about in terms of principle, but in terms of practice, let's look at what Peter and Julian tried to do here in terms of practice. they decided to stay apart. They worked some kind of timetable that will not allow them to meet. We know from what we handled in the past that they were having affection for each other. And we gave them a couple of advice, how they should seek pastoral counsel or maybe talk to someone who will listen to Julian's mother. And we also talked about Julian talking to her mother by herself, but it seemed that was not done. So maybe shame, maybe other things, we don't know. But they worked out a timetable, which is they tried to stay away, to separate themselves. Some people say that it's okay when you do that, but it didn't work for them. Is it that is a wrong approach for you to stay away from what is bringing that desire, or in their own case they just didn't do it well? Dr. Adam?
I think what they did shows how it doesn't work. Like I just said earlier, emotions can be very powerful. If sometimes when you cage a child or somebody who wants to do something wrong, the day you release that child, the child will go and do that wrong thing. So except you deal with him, if for example they say let's stay apart, but within their heart, they are still saying I love this girl, I love this man, it's been there. They are thinking and dreaming about the person. The day they had the opportunity, you saw what came out. They ended up sleeping together. So they didn't deal with it from the heart. So if they think it's wrong, it's rather to seek for counsel or somebody. They have to deal with it from the root cause. So the principle will still work, but you need to apply it. The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. So you look into your heart and you guard. If you don't want these thoughts to remain, then you deal with it. You don't allow the thought to remain and you say, I don't want to do it. I can't be dreaming of sleeping with a girl and I say I don't want to do it. When I get to when I'm thinking and dreaming about her, the day they leave both of us together, we'll sleep together. Or I'll go after her, she may have to run away. I think that's just what happened. They didn't deal with it in their heart. The day the mother-in-law was not there and we saw the outcome. So we need to deal with emotions. I think that's when we did the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament had laws, thou shalt not steal. But in the New Testament we are given a new heart, where God deals with the root cause of sin from within. Not just the laws that say don't do this, don't do that. The Israelites could not keep the law. I think that's the difference.
Okay, so essentially staying apart is not really wrong, but there are other things they ought to do. They should also think apart.
Yeah, okay, for easy they need to think apart.
Okay, Digness okay, for them to think apart, what are the things that they could have done? Some people say an idle mind is the devil's workshop or something. Is it that their minds are kind of idle, that's why they could not think apart, or is there any other thing they could have done apart from staying apart?
I feel that in certain cases you have to be mature about it. And how do you get mature about it? If you feel that you can handle it, you'll be talking, both of you have the same problem. The man is emotionally attached to the woman is emotionally attached to the man. And they were depending on themselves to take a decision. I feel they should go beyond that at that level. They should have gone out to somebody else, to their pastor or to somebody else to tell them this problem. When the person tells them the problem, they know somebody else is aware of the problem. And the person will give them counsel, this is what you do. But it was still at their own level. This one says, okay, we shouldn't do this, and then they met, and the first thing they did was to sleep with each other. So they should have gone out, and sometimes when you know that somebody else knows about this problem, or somebody else knows about this thing, and the person has advised me like this, I will do it that way. But they didn't do it that way. So sometimes it's not just both of you agreeing, because I know somebody, they were going to break up, and the man now said to the woman, let's go and pray about it. Let's do it prayerfully. And how were they going to do it prayerfully? They were going to go to the room and pray about their breaking up. But the guy was very, very wise. The guy was very, very wise. He knew that was at the end, that if she went there, she would do something else. She was not going to do it prayerfully. So she just said, okay. She ran away to somebody else. She came to me to say, they want me to go and do it prayerfully. And say, no, come in here, break up in my presence. You can't pray. You know, when somebody else is aware, you know, you are conscious that somebody else is aware. It was still at their own level, and they were not mature enough. They couldn't handle it.
Okay, that was good. One other thing was that at the initial time, there was somebody else that was interested in Julian, and we had some contentions about the cultural sensitivity of them getting married and all that. And there was somebody that was interested in Julian. But when they stayed apart, there's no indication as to whether Julian pursued or gave room for that kind of relationship to work. Ms. Mufe, how do you see? Would it have been better for Julian to have given room for a different kind of relationship to evolve, rather than trying to stick with Peter, that was the husband to her deceased sister?
What I'm saying, her mind was already saturated with Peter, and that all she was saying was Peter. Even if the other person was coming and making sense, she was not saying sense in that. So she had already made up her mind. So she was telling herself, we deceive ourselves a lot of the times. We tell ourselves, you will be doing something, and in your heart, you know that's not what you want. She knows she wanted Peter. So that other person might be coming, and whatever the person is saying, she's not listening, because she has found Peter as a very convenient partner for her. This is somebody I know, this is somebody that we can get married to, I can get married to, because he's already interested in me. But from the beginning, I feel as a woman, I don't like that attitude. I don't like that decision that she took, that it must be Peter. Because where I look at it is the children I'm looking at here.
Okay.
If they didn't have any, child on the ground, there are two adults that are not related by blood.
Okay.
But marriage has brought them together, and these children are related by blood.
Yes.
So we look at it in a very light issue, but it's not as light as that. I feel you have a duty to protect your child's interest and to let whatever happens to the child. Love was not enough in this case for them to destroy the life of those children, because that one that you are an auntie to this boy, and then you now become a stepmother, and your child will be a first cousin to one of them, and later will be a stepbrother or something. The whole thing is just confusing. So for them it's okay, or they are feeling love and they think they are okay, but they are destroying the lives of some other people, and that was where they would have been looking at, and that would have helped them. If they considered that very well, it would have helped them to stay apart. But they didn't look at it that way. They felt they were going to take care of these children, they were going to take care of them, and they already know each other, and it would be easy. It wasn't any easier.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, we'll be taking a break now, and then we'll be back to do more justice to this topic. Please stay with us. Welcome back, viewers, to the second part of our discussion on family cycle, part 2. Before we went on break, we were talking about the relationship, or the intended relationship between Peter and Julian, whether it's ethical or whether it's okay or not. And we're talking with Deaconess Tommy, and she talked about concerns when it comes to the children. Now I want to delve a little bit more into the concern when it comes to the children. There are a lot of relationships or marriages come in different formats, and being caused or being led by so many things. If in the case of the parents, as we talked about that, okay, fine, there's nothing stopping them from getting married, but there are concerns about the children having like multiple identities and multiple relationships. Is it not possible that there are ways that the parents can handle all of that and the children will still come out well?
Well, life is more complex than that. It's not easy. It's okay if you lost somebody and then your mother remarried and you have a new stepfather. They still need a lot of talking and all that to make you understand and accept this new person.
Yeah.
The child's life is very easy in terms of the fact that they know the people that do good to them. If you take a child and you are good to the child gets attracted to you and gets close to you. It doesn't matter whether you were the uncle before. Anybody could come from elsewhere and be very close to the child. But for us to say this child, that this situation as we're talking about now, that is it not going to be easy if they just swap like that? It's not easy to swap for those children, because biologically these people are related. These children are related one way or the other.
Okay.
So what is the relationship? What is this relationship that they have? We are cousins. If they want to introduce themselves outside. Today they'll say we are cousins. Tomorrow they'll say we are brothers and sisters. You know, Nigeria, we are used to this is my brother. We know this person as
multiple identity.
You know, it's not going to be easy for them, and it make them. It will even bring shame sometimes to them. They feel ashamed to say this is my brother, my cousin. All of a sudden, this is my mother, or this is my uncle that has turned my father. It will bring shame to them, and something psychologically it might make them to withdraw and feel different. It's even easier for them to see a new person that wasn't even related to them and say, this is my new daddy and everything is working out well with them. Life is more complex than that. When you tell the child, today this is what you are, then tomorrow you tell the child, no, we are not that anymore.
Okay.
It's not that
now,
easy.
there have been some stories I've heard, but I don't know much. Maybe we know some like that some people, maybe they lost their father or they lost their mother, and during the time of the burial, they just see one strange person just show up and say, I'm this person's son, or this is my father, or this is my mother, and it's strange, and a lot of things come up. I don't know. Is there? Have we come across anything like that at the time? And how the ones we come across, how do we see the atmosphere? How does it become like tense or something?
It hasn't been very easy for those people to just fit into the family like that. These are complete strangers that have come in and you say this is your brother. You find that most times the child wants to see how the mother is reacting. If the mother is accepting those children or accepting that child, the child is a little bit relaxed. Okay. But most times the mothers are not relaxed. The mothers are bringing down
tension everywhere.
Saying this is your father cheated on me, this and that. And the children transfer that aggression to that person. So the position of the mother in this case is very, very important. Because if the mother says, okay, well, it happens like that, it's your brother, accept him. You see that they start accepting the person gradually. It doesn't come automatically. It comes gradually. They start saying, oh, I have one brother. Sometimes they don't even want to talk about it. They're ashamed of saying, this is my half brother or my new brother that they're going to have. But generally, they want to see how the mother in the house is reacting. And if she tells them, please accept, this is your brother, it's possible, your father told me, or it's possible.
So they use that as a stepping stone.
They will use it as a stepping stone. The children might disagree at first, but later they will agree. But if they see that the mother is really tensed up and is bringing sadness to the mother and all that, they transfer the same to the child.
Okay, now let's look at another line. We've talked about emotions, how to handle emotions and thoughts and all that. I want us to look at this. Now, for Peter and Julian, who had been they've been going in the direction of like having a relationship. Then we talked about maybe they should clear their heads. They should take time to clear their heads and make sure they do something. They should make their decisions right. And possibly that's the reason why they try to stay apart. Now, I'm thinking about something. The difference between ordinary friendship and then a relationship. What generally in relationships, what is it that people do in relationship that is going to lead to marriage that is different from what they do in friendship? How do we differentiate ordinary friendship? Is it that there are some set of things that we do in ordinary friendship, but when we agree that, okay, now we are going to get married, we now start doing other things? Or it's just a difference in atmosphere, Dr. Alu?
It's friendship and the boundary and boundaries are there when it's about the depth of affection. Actually, is how deep the affection is being expressed between persons. Two persons could just be the normal friends. When they are into relationship towards marriage, the depth of affection within and that is expressed begins to differ. How to particularly spell the timelines, maybe expressions like in romance and all that, could be some ways that could tell between those that are going to marry and those that are just friends. But it's actually about the depth of affection in the heart and how you express it one to the other. Because you still give gifts, you still call, you still do the other, but in your heart, I love this person, I want to spend the rest of my life. This is going to be a friend for the rest of my life, but there's nothing like we're going to stay together and become one.
Question. I've seen some people, some friends that we look at them and say, oh, these people, they are going to become a couple. And eventually they don't become a couple. And I've seen several that I think that these two people, they are meant for each other. But eventually, since they are not meant for each other, they go their different ways. Why we see some that is like they are just going and then they get married. So physically speaking, it becomes difficult to define which one is which. But I want our viewers to be able to get a practical guideline as to, if you are in a relationship, what is the difference between it and when you are just a friend?
When you are in a relationship, the motive is very, very important. That's what he was talking about, the heart. You already have it in your heart that this is the motive of this relationship. You can define it that we are just friends. We are nothing. There's nothing to it. But you find that when you are in a relationship that's closely knit, you call every day. The depth of your calling, what you talk about, is different. You call maybe the other friends. You still call the friend every day. You talk every day, what's up and all that. But in a relationship, you find that the calling is different. You talk about other things, and then your motive too is different. If you are calling me, why haven't you called since? You say, I'm sorry now, sorry I didn't call. I know you'll be expecting my call. But the other friends, I beg, sit down, must I call you? You know, you know that the motive is different. But each time you are there together, you are staying together and all that, it's what you think in your mind. That is why he was saying emotions are very powerful. It rules, what you think in your mind rules your actions. It tells about your actions. Sometimes some people they don't show their affection openly too much, but they are deeply in love with each other. And you are seeing it from that angle, but they themselves know where they are going. And you that's just looking, you think they are just friends, but you know they are expressing each other in coded ways.
They know the contract
they know the motive and all that. So they are different. It's not the same.
Okay, let's direct ourselves back to this issue at hand.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, Peter and Julian, they've gotten sexually involved, and something has gone wrong. Their situation now is worse than it was in the beginning. Somehow, this is going to come into the open, either at the family level, at the society level, or something. It's going to come into the open because somebody will have to tell somebody. Even if somebody has to tell the pastor has to tell somebody has to tell somebody, and this issue will come up. And when it comes up, there's going to be multiplier effects. A lot of emotions are going to come out. Anger, annoyance, so a lot of emotions are going to come up. Now, we are going to have issues on the aspect of Peter. How is he going to proceed? On the aspect of Julian's mother, especially when she had been warned by a neighbor that, look, I'm suspecting these two. As she said, there's nothing there. How is she going to feel now? And then the extended family. In a large family, there are some people that are just like troublemakers. They see trouble and they love trouble. They just want things to, to be in trouble. So now, what advice can we give to Julian on how to proceed as it is? Now she's blaming Peter and she's telling Peter, fix it. Does she not have anything she needs to fix? You can ask me first.
I think you could look at it two ways. In one way, it could be the last straw that will bring the camels back. There's nothing to fix there. Everybody go your way. Just know that it's not going to work. It has happened. I was telling you this thing is going very close, and now we've ended up doing the worst. So sometimes it could just make them end the relationship that way. They will know that they can't handle it. It's beyond their level. But secondly, too, they will have to go and report themselves to somebody. As I said earlier, they will have to go and report themselves to somebody, and we tried it our way, we tried to do it, and it's getting worse, and we can't cope anymore. In every situation, it's always good to seek counsel. It's good to seek counsel because sometimes these people are no longer reasoning rationally. They are just, flooded with their love, the supposed love that's not there. So they will have to go and seek counsel from some other person.
Okay, Dr. Adu. Who do you think they should seek counsel from now? Talking to Peter now, as a man, he has made an error. We are men who make mistakes sometimes. So,
I think,
should he go to his pastor or should he just face his mother-in-law straightforward?
Okay, before I address that, I want to say one that could continue, one problem they could face on this, dealing with guilt. I think that's what they really need, seeking spiritual help, because guilt could cause a lot of problem in months to years ahead if it's not dealt with. It has happened. One, you need to move on, which means you need to ask God for forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself. You need to forgive the other person. You want to fix it, it's your fault and all that. They should deal with that, and that means looking for spiritual support. Yes, they've not handled it themselves, and that means they should look for someone to counsel them and tell them, if you are not going together and it's not right culturally and you cannot move on together, so you're hiding it, then it's time to tell yourself we need to deal with it from the roots. We can't go on. Tell the family members, you have this affection. And once everybody knows your problem, you cannot harm you anymore. When you're ashamed of something that you keep it so secret to yourself, it keeps tormenting you. Once everybody knows that you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's open. There's nothing to hide anymore. They help you to monitor yourself and you cannot be free and you can move on. So I think they need spiritual help and they need family help.
Okay, Witness Mufel, let me ask again. For the mother of Julian who is going to get a shot at a news that is just going to hit her suddenly, what can you advise her or advise mothers out there to be prepared in case information like that comes?
She shouldn't get the shock. She was getting, she was saying facts, saying the insight that she didn't take
do anything
seriously, and that's what happens to mothers out there. A lot of mothers don't read between the lines. They just take things for granted. As mothers, we should not just take things for granted. We should be watching out in our household. That's why we are mothers. We are women. We should be looking out for these things and copy it, nip it in the bud. We shouldn't just leave things happening like that. She might feel shocked, but well, she'll get over it. But she will have to go ahead and do something about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Viewers, we've been talking about family circle, an extension of what we did last time. And I've been talking with Dr. Ofoma Adu, a consultant public health physician with the Ministry of Health in Asaba, and Dickiness Mufel Tomi, Vice Principal at Robo College at Efron, in Nigeria. Thank you for coming and for discussing this issue with us. Now, if you're in a similar situation or you are someone like at the eye of the storm, you've been given a couple of advice that you need to follow. I will advise whosoever is having such complexity to seek support, spiritual support, and support from friends and family members, so that any issue you're handling by yourself, you can bring to the open and you get many more support for it. So I am your host. My name is Akimbola Praise, and I will advise you to please stick with us on the same program, same time, same station.